They've made it through the forge of the qualifiers. Now it's time for them to face each other. Welcome to Clash Royale Gamestars Season 2. From October 18th to 22nd, best players from 3 regions and invited stars will clash in the group stage on the way to the throne and $30,000 prize pool. Who will survive this massacre and move forward? Tune in and watch the Royal Clash.
We've already sent 3 players home with a $1,000 consolation prize, but 13 players remain here at GameStars Season 2. We are for day 4 in the international group stage where $30,000 is on the line. Hello and welcome. I'm Andrew Guy. Joining me today is all the competitors. I'll be here casting this solo, and I'm very, very excited about it. GameStars, it's Season 2, and we had a lot of fun in Season 1. And today, we're in the final day of our group stage, and tomorrow is Elimination Day. And what's it all about? It's all about that $30,000 $7,000. This is what the prize pool is for our international finals. $7,000 going to first place. Second and third place will split, close to $6,000. So not even splitting as much as first place walks away with. And a big part of how you get to this prize pool in GameStars is our format. That's right. Cards and decks play a big part of how you get further in Clash Royale these days. As we move to the individual format, as we move to the duels format, all these community events have come up with their own little fun twist on it, and GameStars is no different. Every competitor must bring 3 decks to the competition. They must win with all 3 of those decks, and those decks can repeat 6 of the same cards, but 2 must be unique every single time. And when you look here at the most used cards with the highest win rate, no surprise to see Cannon Cart. It is everywhere in the meta right now. Mother Witch, she is still so powerful, and why not Fireball? It's the best spell in the game by a mile. And these are the best decks that we have seen used by our competitors so far. No surprises when you look around and look at this board of what's being used. One thing, you're seeing a lot of Cannon Cart, you're seeing a good amount of Royal Hogs. That Royal Giant deck in the top left-hand side is the most popular deck in the game right now, among some other graveyard decks out there, and of course Lava Miner with guards. But yesterday we saw a great amount of Mega Knight, and what a good time for Mega Knight to be in the meta as we have Demas competing today. Let's take a look at the week that has passed us by. Group A came out on Monday. We said goodbye to Dia Boom. We gave him $1,000, and he is now watching with the rest of us. Tomorrow in our decider match, Lucas GSM, our invited player from Group A, will go up against the Awesome from Egypt. One of them will move on to our international finals, and one of them will be sent home. Group B, taking a look there to remind you, this was probably the most stacked group in the entire division. When you look, we have our winner of GameStars Season 1 in Hugo. We have an ex-pro from St. Belican against Aslan, one of the most popular players out of Turkey, and Inthrill, the winner of Group B from Poland, has been dominating in Royale Masters and here in GameStars. Tomorrow, Hugo and Belican will face off against each other. One of them will go home, and the action from yesterday, just in case you missed it, it was all about Topic from Russia. He cruised through Siak. He was able to dominate Sasa from Montenegro. Sasa was able to beat SB, our invited player from last season, who ended in 4th place last GameStars season. SB and Sasa will face off tomorrow, and as I said, one of them will move on. One will go home, and Siak was sent home packing. And now we are on to Group D. That's right, Day 4, Group D. Who will move on, who will go home, and who will play tomorrow, fighting for their lives? Demas, you guys know him, one of the better players out of Kazakhstan with that Mega Knight, one of the better players in the game. Ligan CR, the #1 out of our Western European regional qualifiers. Mini Kuma, #2 out of the Middle East, will be going up against One Hive Hunter from Sweden, who got 2nd place in GameStars Season 1. So a lot of incredible competitors, and this is going to be the schedule for the day. We're going to start off with One Hive Hunter versus Mini Kuma. Then we're going to go on to Demas versus Ligan. The loser of both of those matches will face off in our 3rd match of the day. The winner of both of those first 2 matches will face off in our 4th best of 5 today. That's right. 4 best of 5s coming your way, $30,000 on the line. Someone gets $1,000 and is sent home today, and 3 other competitors will still be in the mix to join Groups A, B, and C tomorrow on the chopping block. That's right, same time, same place for GameStars. We will be here tomorrow with all of our decider matches. Whew, what an intro. Let's talk to our players, and then let's get into the action.
Hello, my name is Emil Johansson, and in the game I'm called One Hive Hunter. I don't know the exact trophy amount that I have right now in Clash Royale, but I have finished number 10 in the world. That is my best finish so far.
İsmim Cuma, 19 yaşındayım. Ankara'da yaşıyorum. Oyunda gerçek ismim de Cuma. Sezon sıfırlandığı için kupam 6200.
I have been playing Clash Royale for I think over 5 years. I started playing just a couple of days after it was released, so yeah, I'm an old player.
Ben şöyle çıktığı günden beri oynuyorum. Severek oynadığım bir oyun.
I spend my free time in multiple different ways. I have a couple of hobbies that I like to do, and one of them is of course playing Clash Royale, but outside that, I play some golf, I watch Formula 1, I try to run as often as I can, and spend time with some friends. That's what I like to do.
Çalıştığım için pek fazla boş vaktim olmuyor. Olduğu zamanlarda Clash Royale oynuyorum.
So I don't really like to have ideal cards to play. I try to switch it up as much as I can. But if I have to say one deck that I really like, then it's called Pompeo Balloon. So it consists of Ice Golem, Balloon, Miner, Goblin Cage, Inferno Dragon, Fireball, Zap, and Mega Minion. That's my favorite deck to play right now.
İdeal destemde Elektro Dev, Anne Cadı, Kasırga vesaire var. Bu kartları kullanmasını da seviyorum.
So if I would give some advice to new players, then I would say to play calm. You don't need to be the most aggressive player in the game. As long as you play slowly and reply to the opponent as much as you can, then you can easier decide the outcome of the match. So don't play too aggressive and just play calm and defend as well as you can.
Yeni başlayanlar için elbette zor olacaktır. Birden sonuç elde edemezsiniz. Çok sabırlı olmanız lazım. Çok sakin bir şekilde oynamanız lazım.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to tell the opponents. I think you should just be careful because it can be kind of hard to play against me. But I wish you the best and you'll need it in the game.
Hiç kimse buraya kolay kolay gelmedi. Bedavadan da gelmedi. İyi olan kazansın.
So two very different competitors when you talk about their personalities. Minikuma much more direct and to the point. One Hive Hunter giving us a little bit more flavor with his responses. He has been around a little bit longer and he's a little bit more comfortable, it seems, in this format. Maybe he's just a little bit more vocal than Minikuma. But both these guys, you talk about the decks that are out there. Looking through One Hive Hunter and what he's been playing recently on his profile, we're seeing a lot of Mortar Royal Hogs with Archers and Snowball. We saw different variations of that yesterday. Mortar really strong in the meta right now as a great defensive building and the ability to create offensive pressure without having to use your other win condition, whether it be Miner, whether it be Royal Hogs, what have you. Could be Graveyard, could be Wall Breakers. There's tons of different versions of Mortar out there right now. And it looks like One Hive Hunter has been enjoying that. He is a 20-win player and a 17-win player. He is ranked 79th in the world according to the CRL leaderboards. And last season, he got second place here in Gamestars. He was in the No Tilt World Championships. He's in the ESL Mobile Open, of course, Gamestars Season 1, Gods of CR. He has been that's that was Demas. DreamHack Mobile, Clash Contenders Series, Gamestars, of course, Season 1, the World Esports League. He's been all over the place, and he was a lot of fun to watch in Season 1. He fell just a little bit short to Hugo, our champion of Season 1, who will be facing off against St. Belican tomorrow from Group B. And taking a look here at game number one, One Hive Hunter at the top of your screen, Minikuma at the bottom. And it sounds like Minikuma is really loving that Royal Giant deck right now. It does have Fisherman in it. It does have Fireball, and it does have Royal Giant. So we'll see if that is what he wants to rock or if he's going to change things up here, keeping his opponent guessing. This is game one of our best of 5 here at Gamestars for Group D. Let's do this. One Hive Hunter, 150 Grand Challenge wins, 20 wins in CRL's 20-win challenge, and 17 wins in 2019 of that 20-win challenge. Ranked 74th in the world, as I just said. So a bit of stop and stare here. Always time to have fun showing off those emotes that you've racked up over the years. Minikuma, someone who I'm not quite as familiar with, but excited to get to see him play today. And a Goblin Hut out for Kuma. We saw some interesting Goblin Hut control decks with MK and Miner yesterday. And it looks like Hunter is going to go to that Royal Hogs Mortar deck with Archers. So Kuma changing things up a little bit here. Usually when you see Fireball and Fisherman in a deck, that usually means there's going to be Royal Giant in there, but Royal Giant not usually paired or coupled with that Goblin Hut, and then a P.E.K.K.A comes down here. Right-hand lane push coming in. We'll see how One Hive Hunter wants to respond. You heard in his video that he is much more of a responsive player, and this P.E.K.K.A will not get within tower range. Maybe just a hair too soon there on the trigger is Mini Kuma, but Snowball comes in to help clean up along with some archers, and P.E.K.K.A still on her legs, but will get taken off by this group of ladies here. 2 archers and 1 musketeer. And a mortar comes down. Fireball a hair early there. Could have waited a second longer, hit that musketeer and the mortar, but Fireball not in cycle to deal with this Royal Hog's push. 3 going to go to the Princess Tower. 1 going to take that Goblin Hut off the board along with that mortar shot. 2193 to 1855. Mini Kuma in the lead as he sets up another P.E.K.K.A in the back. Fishboy going to pull that Valkyrie in close. Musketeer going to help take it off the board as a mortar is set up defensively to deal with this P.E.K.K.A. Should have skeletons and archers back around by the time he needs to deal with this. Archers in the back. Skellies up high, maybe. Or a Valkyrie. There's a Skellies. And Valkyrie goes to the Electro Wizard. Nice plays there. Still damage done, though, by Mini Kuma here as One Hive Hunter is having a little bit of difficulty dealing with these graveyard pushes. He's got a lot of great range DPS, and he's got good cleanup with the archers, but the problem is he has to spend a lot on the front end to deal with the P.E.K.K.A. Mini Kuma recognizing that already in this game. Minute and 40 seconds remain here in overtime. Fireball in, misses one of those hogs, but the Fisherman pulls it in close. Fireball goes to the Goblin Hut plus the weaker of the 2 towers. 1499 as this graveyard comes down. Archer's going to go right into the mix, and that is a lot of damage. Archer's not doing what One Hive Hunter needs. Spear Goblin's on the tower. That's going to be towered down in game number 1, and very, very well played there by Mini Kuma. You see a bit of a laugh there out of One Hive Hunter, maybe not enjoying the thanks BM coming from Mini in game number 1, and you heard One Hive talk in his video. He is a much more responsive and calm player now that he knows kind of how his opponent wants to start the day with his opening set. We'll see how he wants to adjust in game number 2. You know he has to run the same deck back. That is part of the rules here in Gamestars, but looking at what One Hive had to clean up these graveyards, he had good options, right? He did have the Valkyrie, he did have the Archers, the Musketeers okay, the Snowball's all right. But in general, he needed to make sure that that DPS was focused on the P.E.K.K.A as she was working down the lane on the front end. So you get the Mortar up high, you get the Skeletons in there, you get the Valkyrie up high. Right there, that's 9 elixirs spent. Then on the back end, he needs to make sure that he has enough to deal with the skeletons. And the sequencing of that is really tough. Do you want to put the archers right in the mix of it and make sure they get some shots off right away? Do you want them just a little bit farther away so the snowball doesn't have as much effect? But couldn't really decide whether to pick and choose between the two. Ends up dropping that tower and ends up being behind for really the majority of game number 1. So Mini Kuma playing that very well, and this is the first time we've actually seen this deck played here in Gamestars. And honestly, we haven't seen a lot of P.E.K.K.A Graveyard out there in the world right now in this current meta. It's a pretty heavy deck, but really good control here by Mini Kuma in game number 1. Impressive stuff, and you always like to see something fresh brought to the competition. These are the cards that were played and the amount of times that they were played. As we are getting ready for game number 2, we'll see how One Hive Hunter wants to bounce back. Mini Kuma playing pretty calm there. You know, it was more about control than anything. It didn't seem too hyper-aggressive, and every time that he did put a graveyard down, he had adequate responses on the other side. You know, the Hunter doing an okay job cleaning up the Royal Hogs. He did have Snowball, and of course, that Goblin Hut pulling one of the Royal Hogs in was really making that defense a bit easier. Here we go. Game number 2. We'll see if One Hive Hunter is tilted at all. Mini Kuma just keep going on with those little bit of BMs and trying to maybe get inside of his opponent's mind. Now that I can look through the games played here on Royale API, I can take a little look at Mini Kuma's profile. Here, he was ranked 767th in the world. He's got 18 Grand Challenge wins under his belt, 20 wins. as well, and 18 wins in 2019. Recently, looking at the decks he's played, he's been playing a lot of Graveyard. Seems like that's been his win condition of choice. He's also been going to Giant Double Prince. We'll see if that comes out at all today. We've been seeing very little of that in the competition. He decides to go Royal Hogs Flying Machine. A lot of Fireball bait on the board. Looking like could be Royal Hogs in both directions here. And Kuma not super excited about this opening exchange. Down an Elixir, down about 500 HP, but he does have good damage in on that right-hand side, so really only down about 50. And setting up for their next skirmish, Zappy split in the back on both sides of the board with a Mother Witch up high. And we welcome all of you guys joining us in the chat from the in-game promotion. Love to see you guys all here and hope you guys are excited to see some great Clash Royale coming your way. Best of fives all day long. E-Barbs split. MKs jump towards each other. One Hive Hunter's MK gets a leap on tower there. Mother Witch played in the center. Going to get on top of that flying machine as the MK is tanking for her. Going to turn that into a pig. Piggy's out in both directions here by Mini Kuma. And a nice bar barrel there to keep the MK in place and ends up taking it off the board. But One Hive takes an ocean of damage on that right-hand side. Flying machine connecting on the left. And a massive overwhelm coming in here from Mini Kuma from Turkey. Very, very nicely played as we are about to tick into overtime. 770 remaining on the right-hand side and 1120 for One Hive Hunter as he sends in these Royal Hogs to a couple Zappies and a bar barrel. One Hive Hunter going to take the lead now, bringing that tower down to 529, but going to have to deal with a small counter push. One Hive Hunter needs to hold on defensively here. With that MK cycled in the back on the left-hand side, he needs to make sure he has the correct cycle in store, and I like these E-Barbs on the right. Now he knows that he has his MK to deal with his opponent's MK in the healthier of his two lanes. Royal Hogs go down the right-hand side. One Hive Hunter having trouble making decisions. Fireball needs to come in, and you see Mini Kuma knows just what has happened there. Fireball does come down, tower goes down, and Mini Kuma is feeling himself. The perfect dual lane pressure as the MK is crossing the bridge. He could feel that his opponent was hesitating, didn't know exactly how to play his defense, was One Hive Hunter. What do? Well, let me create some pressure with my E-Barbs, but the E-Barbs were easily contained by Mini Kuma's defense. Then he sends in the Royal Hogs on the right-hand side, MK on the left, and that's what we're seeing actually right here, much earlier in the game. While that MK is being dealt with on the left-hand side, Piggies are piled up in both lanes. Royal Hogs on the right, regular Hogs on the left, and damage is done. Then we check out the last bit of the gameplay here, and you can see Mini Kuma already knows things are tied up. He knows that that is a massive overspend by One Hive Hunter in the center of the map. That MK needed to come down on top of those Royal Hogs, and those E-Barbs needed to be used for the MK, but just not able to do that was One Hive Hunter, who is playing very uncomfortably right now, and it seems that this young man from Turkey has something to prove. So far, One Hive Hunter has struggled quite a bit in this set. Mirror matchup there in game number 2. Looking at game number 1, he's out with Royal Hogs twice now, is One Hive Hunter. Royal Hogs in games 1 and 2, and not able to break on through. We'll see if he decides to change things up here in game number 3. Would be nice to see something different than Royal Hogs out of One Hive, as Mini Kuma's been able to control that pretty dang well. Royal Hogs, why wouldn't you, right? It's so popular in the meta right now. They're so strong. There's many different versions of it out there in the world, as you can see. Different ones already run, and here we go. Game number 3. One Hive Hunter back up against the wall, and Mini Kuma just feeling himself and feeling good about the BM. Mortar coming out early on. Mortar for Mortar. One Hive Hunter splits skeletons to distract. Earthquake comes down on the left-hand side. Valkyrie gonna go cycled in the back. This could be deck number 1. This could be deck number 3. Minikuma feeling great about his matchup. Just having a good time is that young man from Turkey. So, Musketeer and Archers was a pretty popular thing by a couple players in the game, like Lapakati and Igor and Legolas, but now becoming a little bit more popular all around the world. As we see Musketeer and Archers used on both sides of the board. Mortar comes back down, 2360, the only damage done from that earthquake that was cycled earlier on. We'll see if Minikuma wants to repeat the same interaction, as he does have the mortar down once again. Royal Hog's going to come in here now that mortar goes off the board. Musketeer to deal with the Hogs on the right, Valkyrie to deal with the Hogs on the left, and now One Hive Hunter maybe going to turn this into dual lane pressure, splitting Hogs up high. Yes, he does. 2 behind the Valk, 2 in front of the Musketeer. Nice sequencing there. Hog's going to get some good damage in on the left-hand side. Musketeer just inside Princess Tower range should bring that Valkyrie down low enough to place some split Archers, but then Archers of Minikuma's own to respond. High Skeletons here to take the cannon cart off wheels. 2156 to 1856. One Hive Hunter finding himself in the lead, and Minikuma going on offense. Musketeer down after the Valkyrie, going to take the brunt of those mortar shots. Muskie should take 1 mortar shot here. Yes, she does. And Musketeer goes out of play, as does that cannon cart with a nice defensive mortar plus snowball. 1856, and One Hive Hunter starting to settle into his own groove. Ten seconds left in regulation here as Royal Hogs are split once again in front of that Musketeer, trying to get some good damage in here now on the right-hand side. Skeleton going to get on tower behind that Royal Hog. Musketeer going to get on tower as well. No, she does not. Yes, she does. 1 shot on an Archer, 1 shot on a Musketeer. High Fireball here, going to take the cannon cart off its wheels once again. Nice Valkyrie. Spin to win, as Breaky would say. And here we go. Earthquake coming down on top of those Archers. Snowball plus Archers to deal with this, and late Skeletons after the Earthquake ticks off the board. Minikuma happy about that exchange. Royal Delivery, maybe a bit of an overspend there, but Minikuma not too upset about it as this cannon cart crosses the bridge. High Valkyrie once again to deal, and an Earthquake cycle. Gonna probably ignore that Royal Recruit on the right-hand side, or I guess technically Royal Delivery on the right-hand side. And just a little bit of a mortar battle here. Royal Delivery comes down on top of the 2 Hogs on the right-hand side. Snowball going to the left to try to slow that tower down. Brings the tower down to 1275 with only 50 seconds remaining here with triple elixir flowing. How will one of these guys take the edge over the other? Earthquake cycle still coming in, but it is One Hive Hunter who has the greater amount of spell power. Hogs in on both sides. Everything falls off the board at the same time. Almost looks like time runs out. 10:40 to 12:23. Snowball up high with the Valkyrie. Musketeer is there as well. High cannon cart here to protect. Royal Hogs have to come in behind. High Musketeer here from Minikuma as well. 2 Musketeers on the board for One Hive. 1 on the board for Minikuma. They all come off, and 1 Royal Hog will connect to the tower. 9:77. 10 seconds remain. Fireball goes in. Hogs will not make it through. Earthquake cycle is also in on the left-hand side, but it will not be enough. We're going to game number 4, and now One Hive Hunter throwing out a little bit of the BM, and Minikuma can't do anything but laugh it off, and you love to see it. Honestly, you know, I enjoy having a little bit of competitive rivalry. I like seeing some of the BMs come out sometimes. I hate when someone leaves a tower up in the final moments after the game is already said and done, and they just let the time tick down as a form of BM. I don't like that, but I do love using the emotes. They're in the game for a reason. Supercell has done an incredible job designing them for a reason, so why not try to get in your opponent's mind just a little bit? And remember, You can always mute those emotes if you'd like. And here we go. Here's a replay of what we saw in those final moments, trying to have a race to the finish. Earthquake ticking in on the left-hand side. Hogs it on the tower on the right, but damage already done in the bottom left. Fireball came in to add that nice little cherry on top for One Hive Hunter, and he finally picks up a win here with the deck that he ran in games 1 and 3. While we're looking at these numbers, just want to say hello to all of you in the YouTube chat. I see about that there's 600 of you guys watching, and as Nightbot is telling you, I am going to tell you as well. Please follow us on all of our socials. You can find us at GameStarsCR on Instagram, on Facebook, and of course on Twitter. Most importantly, make sure here on YouTube you are subscribed. Turn on those notifications so that you know what we go live every single time that we do it. We're going to be going live again tomorrow for a great day of matches. Elimination matches all day long tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m. on the West Coast, 12 p.m. on the East Coast, or of course 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time. 4 players will be eliminated tomorrow. 4 players will move on, and then of course we do have our playoffs the 3rd through the 5th of November, where $30,000 will be given away. So if you're one of the 650 people that are here for maybe the first time, make sure that you're following along with all things GameStars, and why not check me out on Twitter as well? I'm at Andrew Guy. And here we go. Game number 4. One Hive Hunter in not an elimination situation, but he definitely doesn't want to get sent down to the elimination side of the bracket, as this is a double elimination format with best of 5s. So Minikuma maybe going back to the well here in game number 4 from what we saw in game number 3. Royal Hogs, Archers, Valkyrie, Musketeer, Cannon Cart, Mortar, Earthquake. One Hive Hunter going back to what he lost with in game number 2, it's looking like. And MK going to leap on through here on the left-hand side. Flying Machine in tow, trying to get a little bit of damage on that Cannon Cart. Archer's going to stay alive, going to need somewhat of a response, unless One Hive Hunter wants to eat the damage. He decides to send in a Barb Barrel, along with the Royal Hogs on the right. Musketeer going to clean up both lanes quite nicely. And E-Barb's up high here on the left-hand side. Going to eat the damage on the right from those Royal Hogs. Try to take off the Royal Hogs on the left and the Musketeer and turn it into a counter push. Valkyrie going to be a nice response here from Minikuma. Man from Turkey up 2-0, drops game number 3 here. And got to admit, he has quite an energetic personality. A lot of fun to watch on camera. So Royal Delivery going to come in on top of that Flying Machine. The Flying Machine will be a bit pesky for Minikuma to deal with, as he does not have a great way to get on top of the Flying Machine, although his saving grace is he does have the Royal Delivery, which is great. He also has the Archers and Musketeers, so he will always have one air response to deal with the Flying Machine and another range DPS to deal with everything else. Muskie set up in the back once again. Archer split in the back here, as looks like Minikuma might be trying to push some offense. Create just a little bit of pressure on the left-hand lane, and we'll have enough to deal with this Mega Knight on the right. But now E-Barb's going to come down on the left, along with that Mother Witch. You know what? I want to know what you guys think about this in the chat. Should the Mother Witch spawn a piggy off of the Cannon Cart? That is the real question to be asked, as an E-Barb gets on that left-hand tower. Mother Witch in tow, does not get on top of the tower, but will help clean this mortar off the board. Royal Hogs on the right-hand tower, along with a Flying Machine, and One Hive Hunter has screamed back into this match. That Flying Machine just set up a family, a campground, a festival on that right-hand tower, down to 847. Musketeer here can be ignored. High Flying Machine. There you go. Nice play there by One Hive. High Archers going to get on top of that Flying Machine. Mother Witch right behind to turn those Archers into piggies. High Musketeer here to protect that tower, as it is getting so very low on the right-hand side. Only 80 seconds remain here between One Hive Hunter and tying up this set 2-2. He was number 2 last season in GameStars for a reason. Right now trying to prove his worth. High flying machine again. Pigs going in on the left-hand side. E-Barb split. They go to the left-hand side. Mini cannon cart gets on the right-hand tower. High Zappies have to turn it back around. Wow, that is not the interaction that One Hive Hunter was looking for, and I lost my words there as I was so overwhelmed by what has just happened. Nice royal delivery up high to get on top of an ocean of red. No piggy connects on the right-hand side. 11-12 on the left-hand side, 1187 on the right, as One Hive Hunter is having troubles holding on to the lead that he established earlier in this game. High piggies with the Mother Witch behind. Fireball goes in. Piggy gets on the right-hand side. 3 piggies on the left. Mortar up. Zappies to catch. Cannon cart right behind 4 Royal Hogs right into a Mega Knight. Now we go cannon cart up high on the left-hand side. Does One Hive have anything to catch it? E-Barbs come down late, and that was a brilliant cannon cart. Not gonna get enough damage in as the fireball comes down. E-Barbs take it off its wheels just in time. And my goodness, wow. I couldn't even speak there for a moment. There was so much going on, such a great back and forth in that last minute and a half. Looked like Mini Kuma was about to steal a game that One Hive Hunter had great control of for a very, very long time. But what great recognition there by Mini, knowing that there was nothing in cycle, sends in the Earthquake, sends in the Cannon Cart. It is caught by those E-Barbs just in time, but it was all about what we're seeing right now. This beautiful setup from the Flying Machine to give One Hive Hunter that massive lead. And you can see Mini Kuma reeling now, going, what happened? I had that beautiful cannon card at the end. Had I just played a little bit better defense earlier on, had I just controlled that Flying Machine, he'd be in a better spot. But how many people have said that in their Clash Royale careers? If I would have just controlled that Flying Machine. Flying Machine's so pesky out there in the world. Whew, what a great game. Mini Kuma has to go back to the well again. He has to play this third deck, and he has to win with it. This is exactly what we're going to see in game number 3 for Mini Kuma. The same 8 cards that we've seen for the last 2 games. One Hive Hunter on the other side of it. Now gets to go to deck number 3. Will he bust out Pompeo's deck? We'll find out here. And Mini Kuma looking a little bit more serious now. Yeah, but he still's got time for the BM. Royal Hog's going to come in. Royal Delivery going to come down on top. As they say in Ted Lasso, we're all level now at 2. Flying Machine can get one shot in on that left-hand side. One Hive Hunter going back to very similar looks than what we saw earlier today. And there's the Swerve, the Goblin Cage, going to come in. So at least he knows he has a building to deal with these Royal Hogs, and the Electro Spirit plus the Bar Barrel, all going to be great ways to get some damage on the Hogs, slow them down. But does he have Fireball? 3-1 split here. Mortar going to come out. Happy to play those Hogs into a Mortar Archer's response for a +2 trade. How quickly the tides have shifted here in our opening set of the day, going the distance, putting on a show for you guys. Zappy split in the back here by One Hive Hunter. Very methodical player. Just happy slow playing this. Maybe we get a high MK. We'll see. Wondering what his ground unit really is going to be. As we're seeing the win condition, we see the building, we see some great utility cards, but we have not quite seen something beefy on the ground. And there we go. Royal recruits come out. You know, it felt obvious that it would be Royal recruits, but I gotta be honest, there has been a massive lack of usage of Royal recruits here in GameStars, even though they have been pretty popular in the meta. So nice overwhelm here. Royal Hogs getting on towers on both sides of the board as that flying machine is just getting an insane amount of value here. Going to lock on top of that Valkyrie. Doesn't get on top of the Musketeer there. Would have been nice for one Hive Hunter, but great for Mini Kuma. Musketeer stays very healthy, and with 10 elixir to spend, see what he wants to do. He sets up a cannon cart in the back. High Royal recruits once again. Cannon cart plus mortar going to do a decent job cleaning this up, but a high flying machine. Valkyrie is there, but one recruit connects on the right-hand side. Valkyrie going to tank for this flying machine for quite some time. Now we get a Royal delivery plus archers to take it off the board, and a late bar barrel here kind of going off into no man's land. And apparently here in the chat, someone's saying Mini Kuma is spelled Mini Juma in Turkish, and it means Mini Friday. Well, happy Thursday to you. Musketeer doing some cleanup here on the left side. And just about 70 seconds remain here in overtime. About to tick into triple elixir. We'll see how these decks fare. Minikuma not able to pick up a dub with this deck yet, as he went up 2 games to nothing, and now in danger of being reverse swept. Seconds remain as this game still feels a little bit slower than maybe you'd like. Bar barrel comes in. Flying machine is there as well. Low goblin cage with the zappy going to mitigate 100% of that damage. The one Hive Hunter is holding on for dear life right now. 29 seconds remain, and now we see the BM come out from one Hive Hunter. He knows he is completely overwhelmed. Mini Kuma towered down below 700 HP, 400 HP on the right-hand side, and just as quickly as glory felt in the fingertips of Mini Kuma has been taken away by the man from Sweden. One Hive Hunter does it once again. Fireball to the King Tower, a little bit of BM there to send it back, and a reverse sweep is in from our number 2 player in GameStars Season 1. You gotta love the energy behind Mini Kuma. You gotta love the trash BM behind Mini Kuma, but not able to back it up, unfortunately. He just needed to pick up one more game, but it was this deck that we saw in games 3, 4, and 5 that Mini Kuma was not able to close things out. Now he's going to have some time to sit back and think about what went wrong in this opening set and how it started off so right. One Hive Hunter, not a player to really BM much, but as you saw earlier in the set, Mini Kuma may have brought that upon himself. And again, just beautiful plays here from one Hive Hunter. I think the most impressive thing, and it's something that I've talked about with Rich for years, it's something that Eric and I and Josh and I have talked about, it's the mental fortitude. You have to be able to stick with it if you are going to win in Clash Royale at the highest level. You cannot get tilted. You have to stay locked in. You got to play your game. You have to know there's always a format there to help you out. Whether it be duels at CRL, whether it be the twist on duels here at GameStars or in Royale Masters, there's always a way to find an edge or find a weakness. And one Hive Hunter did just that in set number 1. He found the deck that Mini Kuma could not pick a win with. He found a deck that did not have Fireball in it, and he came hot and heavy with all the Fireball bait. We are just a quarter of the way through our day. Next up, well, it's going to be Lygan and Demas. Don't move a muscle. We love that you're here. We'll be back in just a second.
And we're back. GameStars Clash Royale Season 2 is running full steam, packed with high-octane action, intricate strategy, and mountains of gold. Mix the elixirs and hop on your hog, Chief. Time to find out who will dominate the clans. Subscribe, join our stream, and witness brave heroes fighting in GameStars Clash Royale Season 2. Ride on, Piggy!
They've made it through the forge of the qualifiers. Now it's time for them to face each other. Welcome to Clash Royale Gamestars Season 2. From October 18th to 22nd, best players from 3 regions and invited stars will clash in the group stage on the way to the throne and $30,000 prize pool. Who will survive this massacre and move forward? Tune in and watch the Royal Clash.
Welcome back to GameStars CR, where Group D is going head-to-head, and it's been all about our former veterans that have played very well today. I mean, I know it's only been one set, but One Hive Hunter was ranked second last season at the end of GameStars, and he ended up pulling off an incredible reverse sweep over Minikuma from Turkey, who went up 2-0 and looked lights out, but then it was his third deck that handicapped him moving forward, and he could not get through One Hive Hunter and all of his fireball bait. So now we move on to Demas from Kazakhstan and Lygan CR from Spain. And for you guys that are not familiar with Demas, he was here in Season 1 of GameStars. He played very well, but wasn't able to get into those top 4 spots, wasn't able to get that invite, but he is an exceptional player, which you'll hear all about from me in just a little bit. But first, let's hear from them.
Hello everyone, my name is Dima, my nickname is Demas.
Hi everyone, I'm Nicolas, my real name, and in the game I'm Ligon. Right now I have 4,000 trophies because I don't play ladder.
I started playing Clash Royale 5 years ago.
I'm playing Clash Royale since the last summer because a friend told me about it.
Since I'm a student, I spend most of my free time on studies. The rest of the time I spend with my family and friends.
I like to spend my free time in the gym or listening to music.
My ideal deck consists of Miner because it's one of the best cards in the game and can be used in almost every deck.
In my ideal deck will be the Royal Giant, my favorite wheel condition, and the Log, a very versatility spell.
First of all, I recommend never give up. Secondly, count your opponent's card cycle. Thirdly, watch videos or guides from professional players.
First, play a few games with a friend of the same level, if it's possible, and then analyze your games for see the mistakes.
See you soon in the arena.
Good luck to all because they will need it.
Well, good luck, because they're going to need it, and that's dang right here in GameStars, where the competition is through the roof. We saw nothing but Royal Hogs in our opening set of the day. That's right, we did see one game where Graveyard was one of the win conditions, but looking at all other 5 games, it was Royal Hogs on both sides of the boards all the way through. And now you heard people talk about Royal Giant, you heard them talk about Miner, we've seen some Mortar out there in the world. What will we see here in our second set of the day? Maybe just a little bit of a change-up would be nice. Demas, top of your screen from Kazakhstan. Lygan at the bottom of your screen from Spain. And did I hear that correctly? Lygan's only been playing for a year and a half? What the heck, man? Making us all feel bad over here. All right, here we go. Game number 1 of this second best of 5. Royal Giant out early from Lygan. No surprise there. Looks like Demas is going for Mortar Bait. Love to see it. And it will be an interesting matchup here, running into Royal Giant in game number 1. And you see that Dark Goblin going to actually sneak in front of that Miner. Miner will get on tower there. Dark Goblin gets a quick shot in, but not a whole lot of damage done. And now we'll see if Lygan has the Mother Witch, which, honestly, and there she is. Feels very appropriate. Skeletons maybe come down. No, Fireball is in, and this will get on tower. So great Fireball there, and now a pretty much negligible push. We'll see if Demas wants to spend just a little bit here to defend, but he doesn't have to. And he decides not to, as he's staying very even in Elixir. Ligon maybe using the camera on his phone. And Dark Goblin going to allow that Fish Boy to get just a little bit of damage on the tower. 2054 to 1597. And Ligon is back. Worrying about his camera is not what you need to do right now, young man. Don't worry. We can look at you later on. Play the game. Prince so incredibly strong in the meta right now when you do not have a great response for it, and luckily for Ligon, he does with that Fish Boy. Fish Boy there going to be a great way to pull that Prince off of his skates. Stop that charge. And we see here Fish Boy pulling that away so the RG can get on tower. Log already down though, so Ligon not going to get a lot of damage out of it. Prince here on the opposing side of the board, but Royal Ghost going to make its way across the bridge here, and a miner has to come out as damage is done on both sides here. Demas still technically in the lead as his opponent does have the lowest tower, but starting to make some room for himself is Ligon on both sides of the board. Nice lightning value there. I'll take that 10 times out of 10. Dark Goblin goes away. Mortar goes off the board. Prince is here, but will get taken off of its skates by that Fisherman. Perfectly timed in place Fisherman. Mother Witch up high here, maybe not getting quite as much value as Ligon would have liked, but a few piggies do come down on top of those Spear Goblins and Bats. Second set of Bats here on top of the Royal Giant. But Royal Ghost now working towards that right-hand side as Ligon is making Demas play a bit uncomfortably here. 1285 to 1040. Ligon now in the lead. Prince there. Mother Witch up high to turn those Spear Goblins into pigs. Nice play there. Dark Goblin here to help clean up, but a log comes down to take it off the board. Mother Witch will get on the tower now, and a second Prince for Demas is cycled back around. Now high Bats. Prince going to charge ahead of them and turn this into a nice counter push. Gets that Electro Spirit off the board. Great timing there, or I should say mistiming there by Ligon. 973 to 948. Set up for a defensive mortar, but Lightning is in play. This could be it for Demas. Prince. Fisherman going to pull that Prince away. Royal Giant doesn't get log value the way that he'd like, but still gets a lot of it with the log and the Royal Ghost coupled, and that's going to do it for game number 1. See there, Ligon with a bit of a fist pump, and kind of a tough matchup there when you talk about running into Royal Giant Lightning with Royal Ghost because of the cards that were there. You know, so many baity cards on the ground for Demas. He wasn't really able to respond to that Royal Giant the way that he liked. And also, when you talk about the log value, the Mother Witch value, there was just so much great value here coming out for Ligon. You can see there with the head bob, knows exactly what's going on. Royal Ghosts in both directions. Dark Goblin just doesn't know what to focus on. And of course, that Mother Witch getting so much value. And you gotta love the young man with the fist pump there, feeling good about his start here in game number 1 against Demas, one of the best MK players in the game. And we'll see if Demas does want to play any Mega Knight in this set. But right now, we know one deck that he did not come out on top with. Looking over here at Mini Ligon and what he's been playing as of late. He's been playing some MK Loon with Miner. He's been playing some MK Miner with Goblin Hut and Fireball. And of course, Royal Giant. Seen some Graveyard Control, a little bit of Hog Cycle. So he's been playing just a little bit of everything when you go through and you look at his profile. And talking just a little bit more about Mini Ligon. He's a guy that's won a good amount of grand challenges, but as you heard, he's pretty new to the professional scene. He doesn't have a lot of competitive experience. You know, he was in Copa Gamer G in 2020. He was in Gamestars Season 2, of course, which is where we're at right now. And then ESL Mobile Open. But for the most part, Mini Ligon, new to the competitive scene, has a handful of Grand Challenge wins under his belt. No 20-win badges, no CRL ranking. But right now, doing well against Demas, who is currently ranked, I believe, 79th in the world. According to the CR ladder board. He's got hundreds of Grand Challenge wins. He's got a ton of 20-win badges on numerous accounts. He's got a rank 1 tournament finish. That's right. Our Season 13 Grand Tournament, or Global Tournament, I should say. He was our #1 player. So here we go. Demas going back to Mortar, this time with a little bit different of a look with Log in here, Valkyrie Musketeer. And I do love to see some mortar. Nice catch there with the Tesla, and now Mini Lygan going to have to deal with this mortar, which will be defended once again. Maybe a high Valkyrie here to catch the Valkyrie of his opponents. There it is, and now mortar will not lock on because of that well-played Fire Spirit by Lygan. Mortar should get a couple shots now. Miner going to go into the back of the tower. Getting tanked for by that Valkyrie. Dark Goblin to go off to the left-hand side. Mortar there to catch just a second late. Mortar up high now can be taken off the board, but no elixir in hand for Lygan. Maybe we get a late Tesla here after the mortar takes that princess out of play, and there it is. Late Tesla is in. Lygan maybe needed to change things up just a little bit in his defensive responses. If I know what he's going to play, then Demas definitely knows what he's going to play. So game number 2, we're seeing bait out of Lygan, which actually doesn't match up well with the first deck we saw out of Demas either. You know, the Dark Goblin is there to help clean up. Prince will do a good job against the Valkyrie. And of course, having Log and Fireball always makes it a little bit tougher for bait. Dark Goblin squeezes in there, threads the needle, gets on top of the mortar. Nice play there. Mortar shot goes in, but a well-placed Fire Spirit going to take all those Spear Goblins out of play. Log still in cycle, and now Miner, chipping away on that left-hand tower. 1269 remains on the bottom right to 1646. Will he have bats up high? No, he goes Valkyrie instead. Log is there looking for something, doesn't find anything other than the Princess Tower. Miner to the back. Tesla this time does get on top of the mortar. Log is there for that Goblin Barrel, and Lygan trying to figure out a way around this cycle, but just not able to get through it. And that Valkyrie will work towards the Dark Goblin. Get a swing on this left-hand Princess Tower as well, and you can see Lygan not happy about that as the mortar does connect. No way to reset, and a rocket goes to the King Tower. And a very interesting game number 2 here, an incredibly one-sided bout between Demas and Lygan in game number 2. And like I talked about, you know, this is Gamestars. If you guys didn't hear me talk about a whole spiel at the beginning of the show, 3 decks are brought to the competition by every single player. Every player must win with all 3 of the decks that they bring to the competition. Those decks can consist of 6 of the same cards. So you can play the same, you know, Minor Wallbreakers deck over and over and over. You just got to switch out 2 cards in there. As we know, there's the Knight Spear Goblins version with Tesla, or excuse me, Bomb Tower. And there's the Valkyrie version with Tesla. You can also swap out either of those. You know, we've seen Dark Prince versions out there with Tesla. Doesn't matter. Just 6 cards can be consistent. 2 cards have to be unique every single time. And we talk about what Lygan has here in game number 2. That bait deck might match up better against the 3rd deck from Demas, but we don't know what that is. So I'm curious to see what these guys do, excuse me, in game number 3. I think it would suit Lygan to go to his 3rd deck right now to hopefully not run into Demas's first deck out, the Prince, you know, mortar bait version with Miner, as it does have great responses to bait. But we'll see what they want to do. Maybe Lygan wants to see how his matchup will be against the first deck that we saw and hope to have a better matchup in game number 3 against what Demas has not shown yet either. Who knows? That's the best part about being on the desk, is I get to just talk about it. I get to just speculate about it. I do not actually have any say in what comes out to play. So here we go, game number 3, and Lygan going right back to it, as I was hoping he would, but doing also something different is Demas. Demas going to his 3rd deck now, as there were not Spear Goblins in deck number 1, and he won with the deck that we just saw, so that does not get to get played again. So this rocket going to go right on top of that cannon cart and Princess Tower. Good value there by Lygan with his fingers ready to go. It's a heads-up rocket. Mortar comes down. So Demas is all mortar all day, and there's one guy that's happy about it. Me. Lygan might be feeling a bit differently. Mortar will connect on tower here for a couple shots unless dealt with, and Lygan already shaking his head. Can't believe that this mortar's connecting again, and it's actually just 1 shot, my mistake. And Miner goes to the back just a second late. Demas playing the most popular mortar deck in the game right now. And this is going to be a very, very fascinating matchup when you talk about the fact that Lygan does not have a fireball to deal with that minion horde. That's a big thing what you're looking for. That's one of the reasons why this deck is so popular that Demas is playing, is because fireball is everywhere. And if you can get your opponent to fireball out, then usually your minion horde will get an insane amount of value. However, in this matchup, we have Rocket, Fire Spirit, and Princess, which are all going to have great usages against that minion horde. Rocket more of kind of a panic button, but the fact that you have Dark Goblin, Fire Spirit, and of course the Princess to deal with that minion horde makes this deck just a little bit less intimidating. High Valkyrie here, Dart Goblin. Played low to help deal with the miner as a fireball comes in to clean it up, and now a rocket cycle in the left lane as a Fire Spirit to deal with this minion horde in the right, and that minion horde will get just a little bit of damage as the healthier minion tanks there, and we see Log coming out. Spear Goblins on one side, Goblin Gang on the other, and that was incredibly well played. And now you see this frustration come on Lygan's face as he gets the Valkyrie down and the Dark Goblin, but the cannon cart is there to catch the Dark Goblin. Now Miner goes to the back of the tower, does not get within range of the Tesla, but a very oddly placed mortar by Demas, maybe getting pushed around by that cannon cart, and a bit of good luck there for Lygan. But that good luck might not go that far. 427 remains. Miner plus some fireball love, and that'll be towered down. Demas will go up 2-1. And a Princess to catch a Miner. That's never what you want to see. That's great fireball value there. Might not even go for it, though. Princess here is set up, and the mortar. Yeah, there we go. Fireball does come in on top of the Princess, and now just one spell cycle away. Gang comes down on time. No damage done. Miner going to go to the inside here, and Lygan wondering if this bait deck was the right decision as he goes down 2-1 after a great start to this set. So, this is where we're at. Going into game number 4, Lygan's life on the line, or at least one of his lives. He's got 2 lives. One of his lives on the line. And Demas has this Prince Mortar bait deck to go to against what should probably be Lygan's 3rd deck. I don't think he should come back out again with this bait deck. I think that his opponent has too many good responses to the cards that are in it. I think he tries to look for a win with his last deck and then goes to game number 5 hoping that he got in Demas's head just a hair and then brings the log bait deck back out again. I think running it back to back to back, finding 3 losses in a row might not be the way to go. And Lygan, what's so fascinating is in Royale Masters, you know, a different format where when you win a game, you can't repeat any of those 8 cards again. But when you lose a game, you can repeat any of the 8 cards again. We found that bait can come into sets later on. That's also best of 3s instead of best of 5. So log bait found itself really successful in games 2 and in games 3 after you knew what was eliminated from the competition. However, with Gamestars being much different, and the fact that Log and Fireball could be in every single one of your decks, and for Demas they have been, it's making this an incredibly difficult matchup for Lygan, who hopefully is going to go to something different here in game number 3. Maybe goes back to Royal Giant, and so far already seeing something different here with the cannon cart. Very happy about that. Here we go. Game number 4. Lygan could be sent down to the elimination bracket if he cannot pick up a win here. So here we go. Piggy's out. Already looking a little bit better than dealing with log bait. You got the Prince there, which only does good single target DPS. And of course, there are all those baity cards to surround it in the Goblin Gang, the Dark Goblin, the Bats. Log Fireball in the mix, though, as well. See how Lygan wants to create some offense here. Fireball goes in and a cannon cart up high. Enough elixir to send in some Royal Hogs as well, but has not cycled all the way back around. Magic Archer plus Mother Witch. We've seen this a couple times, or at least I should say I have seen this a couple times out there in the world in Grand Challenges and on ladder. Good Fireball bait here all the way across the board. 4 cards that would be appetizing to Fireball. Minute and 30 of regulation has gone in the books already. Another minute 30 ticks away before we get into overtime. Royal Hog's going to go on top of that mortar that's shooting away at that Goblin cage. Fireball comes in on top of the Dark Goblin and a couple of bats, and kind of like the aggression there out of Lygan. We'll see how he wants to deal with this Prince on the counter push, though. No longer having cage as a response. Maybe has to go high cannon cart here. Yes, he does. He catches the miner with it as well. Nice double duty there, and that's about the best placement that you could get on said cannon cart. Snowball comes in, but look at that pressure from Demas, knowing that there's no other good response on the ground. He's only got Mother Witch. He's only got Magic Archer, and now already looking at this deck from Lygan, he doesn't have a lot of great responses to needing a tank on the ground. He has the cannon cart, yes, but other than that, he only has the brawler. Cannon mortar going to reset here and get a shot. No, does not get a shot on tower, just in the nick of time. So here we go. Same thing he's going to have to deal with. Cannon cart going to come out for the Prince. Miner going to go to the back of the tower. Dark Goblin up high. And this went much better for Lygan this time around. Dark Goblin gets a few shots in on tower, and you can see there Lygan reeling over it. 993 to 1685. Demas starting to extend his lead. Cannon cart cycled in the back once again. Prince going to come down the lane. Miner going to go to the back of the tower. Miner goes to right behind that cannon cart. High Mother Witch here. That Mother Witch threaded the needle, placed in the perfect spot to get some piggies out on the board and ignore everything else. Gets a fireball in on the tower, and now Lygan turning his push into a nice little bit of offense. High Goblin cage here. Needs something to catch that miner. Goes cannon cart off to the side. That will pull nothing, but the brawler will deal with the Prince, and the mortar is going to be distracted, unfortunately, by the bomber instead of the cannon cart, but cannon cart going to stay on its wheels here. Mother Witch going to turn these bats into a push, and now Lygan getting a little bit of life breathed back into this push. Piggies up high. Cannon cart right behind. But that Prince putting in work. Second set of piggies come down, this time the royal ones. High Goblins here. Goblins. Goblin gang not able to clean it up. Wow, and look at that. 145 remains. Demas going heavy in the paint. That's, wow. And that was an exact, beautiful, precise, calculated, all the words pushed there by Lygan. So well done there in the final moments. Gets a great push to come in. Gets his opponent to overspend on defense, then sends in the Royal Hogs, gets the aggressive fireball down, and we are going to game number 5. What's fascinating about this matchup is you can see Lygan kind of tilting his head at a handful of misplays right there. There's the fireball coming in up high, then the perfectly timed and placed snowball on top of the Goblin gang. Goblin gang just not able to clean up those piggies the way that Demas would have liked, and that was just one of the things that we thought could be an issue, right? Not a lot of great splash damage in this deck. It's just a lot of baity cards and a lot of single target DPS. So Lygan does at least what was recommended in my book, goes to his third deck, wins with it. Now we're going to see that Mortar Prince bait deck with Miner going up against Lygan's bait deck with Dark Goblin, with Princess, with Valkyrie, Tesla, Fire Spirit, Rocket, and Log. That's what we're going to see in game number 5. Over 800 of you watching in the chat. Let me know right now, who is gonna win this set? Will it be Lygan from Spain, or will it be Demas from Kazakhstan? Let me know in the chat who you got here in game number 5 of set number 2. And a little bit of rinse and repeat of what we saw earlier in this set, which is a mortar up high, a Tesla in response, and a Goblin gang to distract. Log comes down, and we'll see if that's what we're going to see over and over. Because what we saw a couple games ago was that Lygan would log that Goblin gang away, but then Spear Goblins would be right there to catch on the other side, and he would have no elixir or no response to get that mortar distracted. He does not want to find himself in that position again. Always fun to hear Dark Goblins in stereo. So the one thing that you could maybe normally hold on to with a bait deck is that you could outcycle your opponent, but unfortunately with this deck being a little light on Demas' side and maybe a hair heavy on Lygan's side, they're both a 3.3 elixir tick. However, it does cost Demas 1 more elixir to get around. Cost him 10 elixir to get around to 4 cards, and on the other side of it, costs only 9 for Lygan. So we'll see if there's a way for him to beat the cycle of that log, but it's going to feel very, very tough considering that if he does actually outcycle that log, there's always going to be a Goblin gang there to deal with the barrel as well. So for this matchup, Lygan really needs to kind of break down the macro matchup and figure out how to find an advantage. He goes Valkyrie low here. Nice Fire Spirit there, getting a lot of value. Log comes down on top of all of that. Dark Goblin here, going to take a shot from the mortar, unfortunately, get cleaned off the board. No, it does not, just in time. Prince does charge, though. Bats come down a second late. Dark Goblin able to get on top of that Prince. High Valkyrie here, but now we see those bats are on that bottom right-hand tower. Fire Spirit has to be spent, and this Prince still has a lot of HP. Now Mortar turned around and distracted. Goes to the Goblins. Dark Goblin gonna get out of play here. Valkyrie will be there to tank, but Valkyrie will not hold on long enough. So we see a high Tesla here, and that is caught by a Prince from Demas, and that could sew things up. Now the Miner gonna tank for the Prince. Princess on top of the Miner. Prince charging towards the tower. Log has to come down. Log hits all three's company there. The Prince, the Dark Goblin, and the Mortar, but another Mortar set up right away here from Demas. Doesn't have to worry about the Tesla yet. There is the Tesla now after 1 card is cycled, and the tilt to the head once again from Lygan. Prince comes here to catch the Valkyrie and to catch that Tesla. Rocket comes down on both. Miner gonna go in here. Don't love that Miner placement from Demas. Dark Goblins shooting at each other here, and then Dark Goblin gonna help with that Valkyrie, but not assisted, or not, doesn't need the assistance, excuse me. Princess Tower will do its work. Fire Spirit comes down, gonna get a little bit of damage on that Mortar, as is this Valkyrie. Gonna take 1 more shot in, maybe a Dark Goblin comes down. No, goes Princess instead. Princess here gonna help with the bats, but the Princess is a little bit slower DPS-wise, so she gets taken off the board by that Mortar shot. That's why the Dark Goblin was a little bit better last time around. This is game number 5, 73 seconds remaining. Dark Goblin here, gonna get on top of that Mortar. No, it does not. Yes, it does, just in time. Mortar gets 1 more shot on that Valkyrie. A little bit of a lifesaver there for Lygan, able to keep this Dark Goblin on the board and get that DPS on this Prince. Log to push it back. Fireball goes in on the Princess, and while Lygan is hanging on, he is not creating any offense. And now we go, Rocket cycling. Maybe that's something he should have done a little bit earlier on. Nice catch there with the Tesla ready to go. Tesla does get on top of the Mortar, and now finding himself in a position to maybe turn this game around. Goblin Barrel has to come out defensively. Fireball goes on top of the Mortar. Prince is going to the tower, and that should do it. 300 HP remains. Rocket goes in, gonna catch that Dark Goblin. Needs to catch this Miner here. Miner not caught by anything. Log comes down, and that is going to do it. Lygan is beat in 5 here by Demas, and so far we have seen some incredible sets. Halfway through the day, 2 best of 5s going the distance, but at the end of the day, it is one Hive Hunter and Demas, the veterans of Gamestars League, who have come out on top, able to hold on, stick through, mental fortitude, going to set number 3. And just great plays here by Demas, just everything being where Lygan does not need it. Whether it was the mortars that were getting caught at the bridge, or it was the fact that so much utility had to be taken off the board by that Mortar just to distract it, right? Valkyrie would have to come down, then the Dark Goblin would have to come down, or the Tesla would come down, and then the Valkyrie, and then the Dark Goblin. So much having to be spent by Lygan on defense because of the incredible pressure by Demas that was just put up time and time again. 9 mortars came down up high at the river, and such great plays there. And it looks like here in the chat, as I'm catching up, we have a little bit of a delay. Everyone is saying Demas in the chat. We do see a couple people voting for Lygan, but now that we are through that set, through that last game number 5, we see who actually came out on top, and it was Mini Kuma and Lygan who fell just a little bit flat today, just a little bit short in our first best of 5s. That's going to be our next two sets today. Mini Ligan and Mini Kuma coming your way, right? Not Mini Ligan, Ligan CR and Mini Kuma coming your way in set number 3. And it will be Demas and One Hive Hunter, who know each other very well here from Gamestars, in our 4th set of the day. We'll be back in just 1 minute.
And we're back. Gamestars Clash Royale Season 2 is running full steam, packed with high-octane action, intricate strategy, and mountains of gold. Mix the elixirs and hop on your hog, Chief. Time to find out who will dominate the clans. Subscribe, join our stream, and witness brave heroes fighting in Gamestars Clash Royale Season 2. Ride on, Biggie!
Hi everyone, I'm Nicolas, my real name, and in the game I'm Leon.
İsmim Cuma, 19 yaşındayım. Ankara'da yaşıyorum. Oyunda da ismim Cuma.
Hello, my name is Emil Johansson, and in the game I'm called One Hive Hunter.
Hello everyone, my name is Dima. My nickname is Demas.
There are 32 rarity cards.
Oyunda 103 tane kart var. Ender kart, sıradan kart, destansı kart, efsanevi kart. 4 tane kart var.
In the game, there are common cards, there are rare cards, epics, and legendary cards, so 4 rarities.
It's 4 rarities, legendary, epic, rare, and common.
It's 1956 trophies.
Oyunda en yüksek yapılan kupa 8700 veya 8800'dür.
I know the right answer. It's 8,964.
Almost 9000 trophies. I guess 8968.
17 arenas.
Kaç tane arena seviyesi var? En yüksek 15. arena.
Honestly, no idea. I think. Oh wait, if I look on TV Royale, I think 14 is the maximum.
I'm pretty sure that in Clash Royale 15 arenas.
120 of damage.
13. seviyede prenses kuleleri 3800 olması lazım. Ana kulede 5800.
Damage, okay, let's think. So, it kills a skeleton one shot, and I think the skeleton is around 100 HP. I'm not sure if I'm right. But yeah, around 100 HP per shot.
I guess around 100.
There are 10 spells in the game.
Yaklaşık 15-20 tane vardır galiba. Veya 10 tane, 10-15 tane vardır.
Okay, so there's the Rage spell, Earthquake, Poison, Fireball, Sap, Lodge, trying to think, Snowball, Royal Delivery, what else? Clone. The heal spell doesn't exist anymore, so unless I have forgotten something, I think it's 9.
I think in Clash Royale 13 spell cards, but I'm not sure about this.
Pekka is in Arena 4.
Pekka kartı 4. arenada Pekka arenasında açılır galiba.
The Pekka card, not sure. It's been a long time since I unlocked the Pekka. So it's just a total guess, but maybe Arena 4.
Pekka's card opens on first arena, Pekka's playhouse. $1,225.
Sağlık miktarı Prenses Kuleleri 1400, ana kulede 2500'dür diye tahmin ediyorum. Böyle olması lazım.
I think it's above 1k, but not 2000. So somewhere in between that, maybe 1448.
First level main tower has 2400 points.
16 players will participate in the international finals of Gamestars.
Elemelerden sonra grup aşamasında toplamda 16 tane oyuncu var.
There are 16 participants. I'm quite confident on this question, so you should be right. 16.
In the international group stage of Gamestars League Season 2 will participate 16 players.
So Demas comes out on top there in set number 2 and in the trivia. I gotta say, no one other than Saint Belican has gotten the maximum trophies question correct, which has blown my mind. Right there, we saw One Hive Hunter get the numbers mixed around at the end. He said 8964, not 8946. I guess this is the stuff that you pay attention to when you've been here every single day or every single morning, which you guys should be as well. We are 4 days into our Gamestars International group stage, working towards the international finals, where $30,000 is on the line. That's right. And these 4 gentlemen are all still trying to compete to get there and get that lion's share of the 30K. One Hive Hunter takes down Minikuma in 5. Demas takes down Ligan in 5 as well. Now it's going to be Minikuma and Ligan CR battling for their lives. One of them will get eliminated and get sent $1,000. The other one will face off again tomorrow in the decider match against either the loser of Demas and One Hive Hunter. Could be either of them, whoever loses the 4th set of the day, which means we got 2 more best of 5s coming your way. And while we take a look here at the bracket, since I just kind of broke that down for you guys, how about we talk about where you should be following along with us? Gamestars CR on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, and make sure you are subscribed here on YouTube. Turn on those notifications. That way you guys know every single time that we go live. We're doing it again tomorrow for the last time this week. 4 players will be eliminated. 4 players will be pushed on to our international finals. And then we will be back at the beginning of November, November 3rd through the 5th, for our finals. $30,000. And 8 of the best Clash Royale players in the world will be fighting for that prize money. But first, we have to get through Group D, and Group D has been a very fascinating one, especially when we talk here about our matchups. We're about to see Ligan versus Minikuma, and when you look at their decks, one of the things that Ligan struggled with so much in that last set was that Demas always had a building, he always had a log, and he always had a fireball, and his cycle was able to keep up with Ligan's. When we take a look here at what Minikuma ran earlier in his sets, the one thing that I think Ligan can hold on to is that there was not logs in every single one of Minikuma's decks. Yes, he did have Fireball, and he did have Bar Barrel in one of his decks, but the other one, Snowball Fireball. And of course, the third deck that we saw him struggle quite a bit with was Earthquake and Royal Delivery as his 2, spells, if you want to call them that. So I think this is going to be a much better matchup for Ligan when he talks about that log bait deck, which we saw him struggle with incredibly in the last set. He could just not pick up a win with it. We did go the distance, so that means he was able to pick up wins with his other 2 decks. But gotta win with all 3. This is Gamestars, and this is a best of 5 format. There we go. as you can see on the left-hand side, Minikuma started that set off great against One Hive Hunter, picks up 2 wins right off the bat. First with that P.E.K.K.A. Graveyard deck, second with that Royal Hogs MK E-Barbs deck. Then it came to this Earthquake Royal Hogs deck that he could just not figure out a way to break on through. Well, luckily for him, if you look right across that board there, you can see Lygan in the exact same position. Not able to pick up a win with this log bait deck with Fire Spirit, Dark Goblin, and Princess. Maybe thought about rocket cycling a bit too late, but, you know, too little too late, and we're on to set number 3, an elimination set. You look at the other 2 decks, though, 100% win rate, same thing. So it's going to be all about deck number 3 from both of these guys matching up. And right now, when you look at that matchup on paper, Lygan does have it, but that's only if those decks go head-to-head with one another. I do think he could find himself in a decent matchup with that P.E.K.K.A. deck, as it costs an entire elixir average more to cycle all the way back around. But dealing with those goblin huts with your rocket, the princess though to deal with the goblins, it's an interesting conversation. And then when you look at this Royal Giant deck, you know, that is such a strong deck in the game. It does find itself in great matchups, but probably wants to avoid that P.E.K.K.A. deck. Here we go. Set number 3. Minikuma top of your screen, Lygan at the bottom. Both their lives on the line. I'm sure they'd love $1,000, but I'm sure they'd love a little bit more. Just to let you guys know how that works is the first 4 players eliminated, which is 1 player a day, Monday through Thursday this week, 1 from A, B, C, and D. They're all awarded $1,000. Tomorrow, we're going to be eliminating 4 more players. The 4 players that are eliminated will all be awarded $1,200. Then from that point on, the top 8 will be remaining. The top 8 can win a minimum of $1,600. So 8th place through 5th place gets $1,600. Then 3rd and 4th place get $2,200 apiece. 2nd place gets $3,400, and 1st place $7,000. So Lygan doing the smartest thing here, I think, in game number 1, which is playing his deck with the best matchup. That will turn that Royal Delivery or Royal Recruit, whatever you want to call it, into a pig, which is really nice. Has that Royal Giant taken for it. Going to help with this mortar and does get a little bit of damage on tower. Great lightning there. I don't think this Valkyrie will go down fast enough to turn into a piggy, but Royal Hogs in tow. Royal Ghost plus E-Spirit going to do a decent job cleaning up. But we should be near even here after this opening exchange. 1967 to 1818. Minikuma behind by just a bit. So a bit of a stop and stare here as we tick into double elixir. Royal Giant going to be cycled here in the back, which is going to be an interesting thing for Kuma to think about, as his deck is just a little bit heavier. He is going to want to figure out a way to get his second mortar down on the board, so cycles a Cannon Cart and Valkyrie in this lane, try to create a little bit of pressure. Lightning comes down on top of both of those. That's an easy lightning there for Lygan. Then he sends in Royal Hogs opposite lane. And already calling good game here is Lygan. He has the Royal Giant on the tower, Royal Ghost on the tower as well. Archers are there to help clean up, but just nothing really coming out of it. And this is exactly what he wanted to see in game number 1. And there we go. Pretty easy game number 1. When you talk about matchup there, Lightning getting a great amount of value. You talk about that Royal Ghost, Royal Giant combination can be absolutely deadly. Royal Giant sneaking behind that Royal Ghost, tanking for it as that Royal Ghost plays cleanup all the way around. And you can see right here, this is exactly what I'm talking about. RG taking the brunt of it, Royal Ghost distracting those archers, which isn't really what Minikuma wants, right? You kind of want all 3 of those units, whether the Princess Tower and the 2 archers, focusing on either one of them, whether it's the Royal Giant or the Royal Ghost. Got to deal with one before you can deal with the other. And right there, Minikuma couldn't really deal with either one. And now Minikuma in a very interesting spot. He's lost 4 games in a row. Momentum swinging in favor of all of his opponents. Lygan CR bouncing back there and picking up a win with the deck that he won with pretty easily in his opening set of the day. But now he's got to go back to that log bait deck eventually. We'll see if he wants to save that for deck number 3. If he wants to try it out now, I think he should try it out here in game number 2, maybe looking for that good matchup. Hopefully he finds this deck again from Mini Kuma, but we'll see. You know, maybe Mini Kuma honestly wants to take a break from this deck as he's lost with it now 4 games in a row also, because he had to play it back to back to back against one Hive Hunter, and then now he's opening with it here against Mini Lygan. So weird, I keep calling him Mini Lygan because that's the profile that I'm looking at on Royale API. And then there's Mini Kuma. So just to confuse you guys, here we go, game number 2. So Mother Witch and Cannon Cart out here for Lygan, which means he's going to go to Royal Hogs with Magic Archer. This was an interesting deck, but he was able to pick up a win with it. And his opponent in Mini Kuma going with his Goblin Hut Graveyard deck with P.E.K.K.A. So this was a pretty fun deck to see play earlier today from Kuma. It's very interesting with Fisherman and Hunter. Seems like a great combination there, great synergy. I believe that was part of our dynamic duos back in the day in CRL, but still P.E.K.K.A. Graveyard with Goblin Hut. So another Goblin Hut put on the board here. High Magic Archer. That Magic Archer not really going to hit the Goblin Hut, but will at least help with the Goblins, and then the Cannon Cart can lock on as the Magic Archer takes off that Spear Goblin. Now the Cannon Cart should be able to lock on. There it is to the Goblin Hut. Magic Archer there as well. Takes all the spears off the board. No, it does not. Cannon Cart does, as the Magic Archer turns and gets one shot on the Princess Tower there with a little bit of a snowball to slow it down. Fireball to meet those Royal Hogs. And so Lygan with the win here is forcing himself to play that log bait deck in 3 games in a row if he can't pick up a win. So very curious as to what the thought process was there. High Goblin Cage here. I actually really like that play to keep the Cannon Cart alive. Now we see this Fisherman with a this is a very odd, technically 3-1 split, as 2 go towards the Goblin Hut, 2 goes toward the Princess Tower, but then 1 veers off to the right-hand side. Magic Archer getting a lot of damage in on the left-hand side. Now, a Graveyard finally comes in. Cannon Cart played right in the thick of it. Maybe a Mother Witch low. No, goes Bomber instead. There is a Snowball to slow things down, but talk about great Graveyard responses in Lygan's deck here. Magic Archer to help from a distance, Mother Witch to help up close if needed, but could also throw the Cannon Cart in there to do a little bit of double duty of tanking and, of course, cleaning up those skeletons. Magic Archer going to connect on the left-hand side once again for 2 shots. 8:46 remaining on Mini Kuma's top left-hand side, whereas Lygan has been basically untouched here, as we have 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in regulation. High Fish Boy. Fireball in on top. 1 Royal Hog sneaks away, and that Royal Hog actually distracting the Fisherman long enough to get taken off the board by the Magic Archer. These interactions are not going Mini Kuma's way. Ewiz, though, getting some good value here, turning the Magic Archer, facing it towards that P.E.K.K.A., still staying on the board to stun. Second Magic Archer comes down with help of that Bomber. Easy clean up there. Another Fireball going to come in. Yes, it does. And almost a nice lineup here from the Magic Archer on top of the Fish Boy, but Fish Boy pulls it out of play. Bomber gonna get pulled in, taken out. There it is. Goblin Brawler. No, goes inside to the cage. Fireball in there as well, and this is just rough stuff. 2 Brawlers on the board And you see Ligon call good game. He knows. Magic Archer to one side, 2 brawlers on the board, an ocean of piggies, a bomber, 2 mother witches, and a cannon cart. And you see there Mini Kuma just going, oh my god. Did this guy just start playing the Infinite Elixir Challenge in the middle of our game? Because he is getting absolutely overrun. An ocean of blue on the board, not enough red, a mile within sight. And Mini Kuma has now lost 5 in a row after picking up the first 2 wins of our day against One Hive Hunter. An exceptional start to his day, but now struggling immensely is the player from Turkey. But you know what? He's at least doing it with a smile on his face. Ligon up 2-0 in set number 3. So now Ligon going to have to go back to that bait deck that he was struggling with against Demas. Played that deck a handful of times in his previous set and was just not able to come out with the W. We'll see how he wants to play it here in game number 3 against Mini Kuma, who, I guess fortunately and unfortunately, I guess if we're talking silver lining situation, he has all 3 decks to choose from. But will it be his Royal Hogs deck with Earthquake and Royal Delivery? Probably not. I think, honestly, he needs to go to his MK Royal Hogs deck. Excuse me. His MK Royal Hog deck, because it has a great tank on the board. It has E-Barbs as well to create opposite lane pressure, whereas we know there's not a lot of great ground game there for Ligon. It's got Barb Barrel to deal with a Gob Barrel, and of course Fireball to get where it needs. Then we talk about spell power. Ligon has Rocket, right? The deck from Mini Kuma that we would hope he runs, those are words, has E-Barbs, has Zappies, has Mother Witch, has Flying Machine. Not a lot of great targets for that Rocket. Obviously split Royal Hogs there, not a great target either. So that is the deck I think Kuma should come out with. I think Mini Kuma runs his his MK Royal Hogs deck, and Ligon obviously can only run his bait deck. And it looks like that's what we're going to see here. Ligon sending in a Goblin Barrel, and Kuma opting to take a bunch of damage to get some piggies on the board. Now a Fireball coming down on top of that Dark Goblin, and Valkyrie comes out to catch. Mini Kuma playing maybe a little bit too loose right now. Maybe didn't have Barb Barrel in his opening hand, but still don't love the way that he decided to open this game. And after going the distance in our opening 2 sets, we could see a quick 3-and-out here. Mini Kuma trying to make that not the case as he cycles a Mega Knight in the back towards the same lane as this Princess, and a Tesla is set up for defense here by Ligon. MK going to do a quick leap there on the Princess. Now Flying Machine trying to sneak in the pocket. Valkyrie played up high enough to distract the Flying Machine. Now taken off the board by the Dark Goblin, and Mini Kuma having some words with himself. Nice log plus there for the Dark Goblin to take that Mother Witch out of play, get some good chip damage on tower, and allow that that regular piggy, I should say, to get nothing. Rocket in here. Easy play. Ligon not happy about that. He just spent 7 for 6, so now he's down 1. I'm assuming that's what the tilt of the head was.
Let's go.
Our second to last set of the day. $1,000 on the line here for the loser. $1,200 guaranteed for the winner. And no matter what, one of these gentlemen will be playing tomorrow in a decider match. Nice tricky barrel up front. Misses it with the MK. And still a bit of a tilt to the head there out of Ligon. Maybe going, well, I guess you just isn't your day. Could have been one thought, or now maybe thinking about how he needs to play great defense here is the other. High Flying Machine gets hit by that Fire Spirit. Helps take that Tesla off the board. And just like that, Valkyrie plus Tesla. Easy cleanup there. And Ligon very happy now as 30 seconds remain in regulation. Another Dark Goblin cycled here. Got good log value. There it is. Log does come down. Tesla going to help with that E-Barb. Dark Goblin going to take off the Zappies. And now another MK cycled in the back. Barb Barrel going to come in through. There it is. And now that MK stays up front. Fireball goes on top of the Princess. 2 Teslas on the board. One goes down. One gets kited around. MK turns towards the Fire Spirit. Now the Barb Barrel comes in and Tesla goes down, but the Cycle could easily come back around to get another Tesla on the board. Now the Rocket Cycle comes in on top of the Flying Machine with the Barrel. Dark Goblin connects, and that is the game. 49 HP remains. Log goes in. Ligan with the quick swipe of Mini Kuma. And Mini Kuma, what a fascinating day for him. He comes in 2-0 to start his day and then ends 0-6 to be eliminated. And Mini Kuma, obviously a very good player. He was the 2nd ranked player coming out of the Middle East, just behind Gens Aslan, who also got eliminated earlier this week from, I believe it was Group B. Does that sound right? I think it was Group B. Either way, 2 players here, both from Turkey, being eliminated early on, even though having exceptional standings coming into the day. As I said, out of the Middle East, it was Gens Aslan in the first spot, Mini Kuma in the second, COK in the 4th, and the Awesome in 3rd. And all 4 of those gentlemen have had a lot of struggles this week here, as Siak, Kuma, and Aslan were all eliminated, and the Awesome is playing tomorrow in a decider match. Ligan CR does it with the deck that gave him a bit of struggles, and we'll see tomorrow if he comes back out with any bait decks. I'd be a bit surprised, as it was not what he really favored playing today, but it was just a lot of matchup conversation in that first set against Demas, as you can see in this 3rd set of the day, or his 2nd set of the day against Mini Kuma. A lot better matchups there from top to bottom with all of the decks, not just that log bait deck, which means 1 player has been eliminated. We'll send them a check for $1,000. Congratulations to you making it this far in GameStars Season 2. The other player going to be guaranteed at least $1,200, and you are all guaranteed 1 more best of 5 between Demas and One Hive Hunter in just 1 minute.
And we're back. GameStars Clash Royale Season 2 is running full steam, packed with high-octane action, intricate strategy, and mountains of gold. Mix the elixirs and hop on your hog, Chief. Time to find out who will dominate the clans. Subscribe, join our stream, and witness brave heroes fighting in GameStars Clash Royale Season 2. Ride on, piggy!
They've made it through the forge of the qualifiers. Now it's time for them to face each other. Welcome to Clash Royale Gamestars Season 2. From October 18th to 22nd, best players from 3 regions and invited stars will clash in the group stage on the way to the throne and $30,000 prize pool. Who will survive this massacre and move forward? Tune in and watch the Royal Clash.
So while you may be stacking experience and gold to get to level 14, that's right, level 14 King Tower, level 14 cards coming your way in Clash Royale, and you know what? I'm here for it. Why not? If you're at the top, you've probably been figuring out a way to spend your gold, spend your star points, and now you've got a way. Level 14 King Tower is coming. Announced today in game. One Hive Hunter and Demas, we shouldn't have a lot of trouble getting to King Tower 14. I'm sure these 2 pros have a ton of time played in game, ton of experience stacked, ton of gold and star points on their accounts. But now all that kind of falls by the wayside as they find themselves in this best of 5 against another veteran of the game, another pro, another CRO leaderboard player and another Gamestars veteran, One Hive Hunter, facing off against Demas after One Hive is able to take down Minikuma. Demas takes out Ligan CR in 2 great best of 5s that went the distance. And then it was a very quick 3 and out here for Ligan CR over Minikuma, who was eliminated, our player from Turkey, the second player from Turkey to be eliminated in the competition this week. And now Ligan awaits the loser of One Hive Hunter from Sweden versus Demas, or Demas, I believe, from Kazakhstan. Here we go. Best of 5. Now let's talk about the decks. As you can see here, Demas went Mortar Miner all day long, and that's exactly the perfect example of what I was talking about earlier, which is our format. 3 decks being brought to the competition. You have to win with all 3 decks, and those decks can consist of 6 of the same cards. And Demas definitely took that the distance. The other side of it, One Hive Hunter. Big fan of those Royal Hogs. What he's not a big fan of are Valkyries, Fireballs, and Logs, and Mortars to keep those Royal Hogs at bay. So we'll see how this matchup is going to go down between these 2 great players. And very, very interesting here when you talk about what we have in response to the Royal Hogs that would come out from One Hive Hunter. It's going to be all about getting that Fireball bait out on the board, making sure those Fireballs go to other things than the Royal Hogs, like the Mother Witch or the Flying Machine. Piling up those Zappies at the bridge behind recruits. We'll see. We'll see how Demas wants to play. Nice thing for Demas here is there's only Mother Witch in one of the decks that he's facing off against. Minion Horde. Always a fascinating card in the game, as Fireball is prevalent in every single one of the decks he's going up against. But you see there, Electro Spirit, Mother Witch, Archers, Snowball, all great ways to deal with that incredibly powerful mortar deck. And you wonder which deck Demas is going to start off with. The fact that he is going to be running into some tanks on both sides of the board, or on the other side of the board, means, oh, maybe he'll want to go with Prince. But the fact that there is that Royal Recruits deck out there in the mix, I think his best bet is to start with the deck on the right-hand side in the center of the screen. I think he goes Valkyrie Musketeer with Spear Goblins and Bats. Obviously, yes, there is a lot of Mother Witch bait there, but there's also good ways to get on top of Flying Machines. There's good ways to control those Royal Hogs. There's a good tank there for the MK. There's a good distraction there for the Elite Barbarians. And, of course, the single target DPS there from the Musketeer. Taking a look here at the chat, Yo Andrew, what's good? Says Illmatic Skills. Hey, what's up, man? And then I see here from someone saying it was a 6-for-6 even trade. Well, Chris, it actually was not a 6-for-6 even trade because a Fire Spirit came out first. Fire Spirit jumped on top of the E-Barbs, and then the rocket came down. That is actually a 7-for-6 trade. But I appreciate you playing. Waiting for this best of 5 to get started as these 2 gentlemen are getting prepared, one from Kazakhstan and, of course, the other one who we saw have some great success over over Minikuma from Sweden in One Hive Hunter. One Hive Hunter was our 2nd place competitor last season in Gamestars. He did walk away with a good cash prize there, but was ultimately taken down by Hugo CR from France. Over $50,000 given away this year by Gamestars between 2 seasons. And these 2 gentlemen have been enjoying a little bit of that cash. Here we go. Demas, bottom of your screen from Kazakhstan. One Hive Hunter, top of your screen here from Sweden. And it does look like One Hive Hunter is going to go to Royal Hogs, Royal Recruits. Demas on the other side of it. Going to go to Cannon Cart with Minion Horde. And there's that Minion Horde right on top of that Flying Machine, as this one Royal Hog gets some good damage on that right-hand side and the left. 2137, 2282 respectively. So Miner chipping away on that left-hand tower. Spear Goblins right behind. Electro Spirit going to do some good damage, but as you can see right there, Cannon Cart tanking for those Spear Goblins, and One Hive Hunter can do nothing but sit back and watch that HP of his tower fly out the door. 1724 to 2090 on opposite sides of the board. Fireball going to go in here. Demas happy to eat the rest of the damage, getting that +1 trade in. Chris saying he's in physics class. Hey, at least we're keeping you entertained. Go. Flying Machine behind 2 Royal Recruits on the right-hand side. No Fireball in cycle here, so maybe a high minion horde once again. There it is, high minion horde on top of the Flying Machine. And minions still getting good damage in on that left-hand tower. Miner goes in as well, and right now One Hive Hunter just kind of beside himself, figuring out a way to play some adequate defense and get this 6-man Hogs push into some offense. So log coming down here. Demas gonna clean this up as efficiently as possible. It'll allow just a little bit of damage to come in from the Royal Hogs, as this cannon card is going to deal well with this Goblin Brawler and the 3 of the 6-man coming down the lane. Flying Machine placed in an opportune spot. Fireball comes down, takes the shields off the Royal Recruits, and takes the Flying Machine out of play. Nice Electro Spirit there, but does not get any value. Maybe play just a second too soon. And Royal Hog's going to go in towards this mortar. Second mortar comes down here. Demas very happy with this situation. Beat the cycle all the way around. Doesn't have to play any Fireball. Now Fireball available if he wants to support the Miner. Now maybe going to go on top of this Flying Machine. Yes, it does. Flying Machine taken off the board. And now Spear Goblin's going to focus on that Electro Spirit. Goblin Brawler has to come down inside of its cage here. And already One Hive Hunter calling good game. And that's going to do it. A very quick game number 1 here. Yes, there was still a minute 45 left of overtime, but it was really just completely in control by Demas for the entirety of game number 1. One Hive Hunter struggling, figuring out a way to get that 6-man Royal Hogs push in, and he just could not do it. Just way too much control on the board. Great ability to get damage in from that minion horde. Having to pick and place that Fireball was really tough for One Hive Hunter. You saw that the defense by Demas also was really, really nice and able to cycle back around to that mortar late game, get it up high, create a little bit of offensive presence. And then we talk about being able to have enough on the ground to deal with those cannon carts. Very, very tough when you're cycling brawlers insides of their cage. Goblin cages up high just to stop that cannon cart in its tracks. So game number 1 in the books. You can see their spell elixir wise, 5 fireballs came out from Demas. Only 1 fireball came out from One Hive Hunters. He wasn't sure where to place it and wasn't really able to get it on top of that minion horde. It's really difficult to figure out when you want to fireball that minion horde, right? It's played up high on top of your Flying Machine. It feels like there's definitely easier, cheaper ways to get that minion horde off the board that can turn into a counter push, but One Hive Hunter struggling in game number 1. So Demas coming out with his Dart Goblin, which lets us know what he's going to be playing. He's going to go to that Mortar Bait deck with Prince. And as you can see, Prince is here. Deal with these E-Barbs, maybe some Spear Goblins up high. Or a Goblin Gang, excuse me. Might have to see a Miner defensively here to tank for this MK, and yes, we do. High Mother Witch there from One Hive Hunter looking for bats to maybe help DPS down that MK. Nice play by Demas, though, not giving him the value. Fireball comes in on top. Good opening exchange there for Demas. He's ahead in damage, and I think he won the mental game. Royal Hog split up high here. 2 going to go towards the left-hand side. Going to distract that mortar as the Flying Machine helps take it off the board. Dark Goblin going to have to come down, help both lanes here. Flying Machine connects on the tower. And those Zappies going to do a great job distracting that Prince, but not getting on top of the Bat. Bat's doing work on that left-hand side. 1596 to 1777. One Hive Hunter struggling to control Demas's aggressive plays. High gang here. Going to be enough to distract to these E-barbs. Nice placement as well. Going to be a positive 3 trade. And MK comes down in the back. Mortar comes down in the front. Mortar going to connect on tower here. Hog's going to go right in on top of that Mortar. Bats right behind it. High Mother Witch. Yes, there she is to get those bats turned into piggies. Fireball comes down on top of her and that pig. But now Flying Machine comes down behind the MK. Fireball going to go on top of the Flying Machine, or excuse me, on top of the Dark, wow, on top of the regular Prince and the Dark Goblin. And just with a dirty cycle is Demas. Another Mortar down, another Prince in. E-barbs up high. Mortar will connect to the flying, or excuse me, to the Zappy here. And there it is. Mother Witch going to take the Mortar out of play. High Flying Machine here to get on top of the Dark Goblin. Fireball can hit both, but instead decides to play a High Prince. Maybe some bats on top. Dark Goblin Gang low here with a High Mortar. Flying Machine kind of off in no man's land as it is causing a bit of trouble here to Demas. Finally going to get cleaned up by these Spear Goblins. Taking that tower down to 778. Bar Barrel comes in looking for a little bit of chip after some cleanup. High Miner here to catch that Mother Witch. Nice play there. You see one Hive Hunter with a bit of a smile on his face going, wow. All right, maybe I'm playing just a little bit too predictable right now. Game not over yet, though. Flying Machine to the right side of the MK. Zappy's to the left side. Zappy's going to slow down that Prince. Flying Machine goes off the board with that Fireball. Really, really nice log there. Misses the pigs, though. High Mortar on top of this. Nothing to catch the Mortar. Nothing to catch the Mortar shot. Oh, never mind. It does actually go to the Zappies at the river. Now Mother Witch looking for some great value here. Does get a couple piggies on the board, but still a lot of bait to deal with. Fireball has to go in on top of that push. 706 remains. Maybe a Mortar gets set up high. No, Miner goes into the tower. And Demas has been a bit of a cycle master today. Fireball going to go in on top of that Mother Witch. Tower down to 270. Getting dangerously close to spell cycle range. And an ocean of red comes down here. No Fireball in cycle. Fireball goes in there. One Hive Hunter trying to make a case for himself. Not going to be able to do it. Miner to the tower. Fireball in. And Demas is up 2-0 in this winner's bracket set. Winner of this set does go on to our international finals. And of course, the loser of this set will face off against Ligan tomorrow in our decider matchups. 4 decider matches coming your way. See here, the Bats doing just enough work, and then the High Miner goes up and catches that Mother Witch. Beautiful play up high there. 1 Hive Hunters, 4 Elixir kind of going off into no man's land. MK steps up in time to really deal with the Bats, but you talk about that Mother Witch not being in cycle and not being able to get any value, and that was great patience there and concentration, focus by Demas, only using that Fireball to take care of that Mother Witch, so that Mother Witch could never get good value, and that's the absolute last thing you want when you're playing a deck like that. Demas up 2-0. And now one more deck coming your way. It's going to be another Mortar deck with Valkyrie, Musketeer, Bats, Spear Goblins, Miner, Fireball, and Log. 1 Hive Hunter on the other side of it. He's got a lot of decks to choose from because he has not been able to pick up one game yet this set. He's tried it with 2 separate ones. Maybe he goes to his 3rd deck. All of them have Royal Hogs. 3rd deck cycles a little bit more quickly with Skeletons, Snowball, and Archers. And Royal Hogs out early. 1 Hive Hunter going back to the Spear Goblin version. Or, excuse me, Demas going back to the deck that we knew he was going to play. 1 Hive Hunter going to the Zappies version, is what I was trying to say. We know he's going to have the MK, the E-Barbs, the Mother Witch in there. High Miner here to turn around. You like that play. That way the Bats can do their work. Now Mother Witch going to be focused on the Miner instead of the Bats. Fireball comes down. 2 piggies, though, do get on the board, and a little bit of damage in here for 1 Hive Hunter. Off to a nice start. See Jim Tennant in the chat asking, and even though someone did answer, I'll respond as well. In Gamestars, it's a different take on the duels format. Every competitor brings 3 pre-prepared decks to the competition. Those 3 prepared decks can consist of 6 of the same cards, but must have 2 unique, and each player must win with all 3 decks that they submit. So Flying Machine going to connect on the right-hand side here for One Hive Hunter, and finally, after the slow start in games 1 and 2, able to create some early offense here in game number 3. So high MK here, bats to deal with it, and a mortar last second comes out. Now Mother Witch is going to be in the elixir conversation, as there was just not enough elixir in the tank there for Demas for a moment, and a nice, or excuse me, for One Hive Hunter there for a moment. And now Mother Witch does come down and provide a little bit of offensive pressure here from One Hive. Demas takes the damage down to 1455. Maybe a miner goes into the left here after the bats play cleanup. Yes, it does. And One Hive goes with E-Barbs behind the wrong tower. Bit of a surprise there, as seeing bats go down the left-hand lane, he would have thought they might go that direction. Either way, not a lot of damage taken. And Mortar does connect on that right-hand side, bringing it down to 1710 to 1203. One Hive Hunter in the lead by 507 HP. Nice fireball there to clean all this up. You see an oops come out from One Hive, giving just too much away, and now the Mother Witch in the wrong lane. Bats going down the right-hand side as she works her way down the left. Zappy's there to distract the Mortar. Royal Hogs to clean it off. E-Barb cycled early on, maybe looking to catch a miner that comes in the tank. Musketeer stays out in no man's land. High Flying Machine here. Fireball comes down. MK leaping on top of that Valkyrie. And Mother Witch going to pull the attention of this mortar as the Valkyrie pulls the attention of the MK. Fireball goes in on the left-hand side. Mother Witch still on her feet, going to turn this Valkyrie into a pig. And yes, it does. Just in time to keep that Musketeer off the Mother Witch. Now Mother Witch going to get a lot of value here. Does stay alive, gets the Musketeer, gets the bats. And now we see great dual lane pressure coming in from One Hive Hunter. Valkyrie out of cycle. Spear Goblins have to go up high. Spear Goblins off place by 1 tile, though, so one of those E-Barbs gets right on tower, and that is going to do it. Game number 3 goes in favor of One Hive Hunter, who is replicating what he did in his opening set of the day. Drops games 1 and 2, feels out his opponents. Now his opponent can only play 1 deck for the rest of the set, and One Hive Hunter maybe going to repeat what he did in set number 1. Paints his opponent into a corner and then takes advantage of it. What an interesting game number 3. Nice mortar there to turn around. This is just after that Mother Witch got an incredible amount of value. She finally gets taken off the board, but then E-Barbs go opposite lane. No rage, no problem. E-Barbs still moving fast enough to get one of them on the tower, and my goodness, do they do an insane amount of damage. When you're talking about single target DPS or 1 E-Barb on top of that Princess Tower. One Hive Hunter started both of his sets off today 0-2, but has picked up game number 3 in back-to-back sets. Will he be able to push this to the distance against Demas in game number 4? Maybe he just likes being in elimination situations. I don't. It sounds incredibly stressful. But we've seen this before from many pros out there in the world, finding their footing when the most pressure is on the line. One Hive Hunter, an even 50% win rate. Demas, just a little bit in the positive. I can see someone in the chat asking, what's Elixir Leaked? Well, Elixir Leaked is when you have 10 Elixir and you do not spend it. As you can see on the screen right now, both of these guys do not have any Elixir Leaked, but if they ever do get to 10 and decide to stop and stare or hold for a second to figure out what they want to play, or maybe they're just waiting for a unit to get within range. They'll leak a little bit. Appreciate you guys in the chat providing a little bit of assistance there as well. Nice high Valkyrie here. Going to get a little bit of Royal Hog damage in. Log goes down on the right-hand side, so the brunt of the damage will actually go in there, bringing that tower down just below 1,000 HP. One Hive Hunter behind by about 110. Make that a little bit more with the miner getting on tower. Musketeer going to focus here on this mortar. Royal Hogs coming down the left-hand lane with Valkyrie working towards them as well. Not going to be able to take that Spear Goblin off the board. And a Valkyrie of Demas' own comes out defensively. 1501 to 1642. Maybe some Skeletons split up high. No goes Musketeer instead to get on top of this Valkyrie. Now Skeletons come down to distract the Valkyrie. As the Musketeer is distracting that mortar, going to need to play another unit and does not get it down in time. So Demas looking for those units, looking for the archers. He finds them a little bit late. Log comes in. Mortar does take a little bit there, but the Bat's now getting a shot on, and the Spear Goblins come in as well. The relentless pressure here from Demas, seeing blood in the water, smelling blood in the water, and going for it. 776 now, taking a lot of wind out of the sails of One Hive Hunter. And miner into that tower. Valkyrie placed one tile too high, looking to maybe distract the mortar in case it got on, distract the Musketeer if she crossed the river, and looking to catch the miners. So that Valkyrie trying to do the Lord's work over there for One Hive Hunter, and still a little bit of damage comes in. Valkyrie connects on the right-hand side. One Hive Hunter starting to feel the wheels slip from beneath his control. Kind of riding out of control here on this roller coaster in game number 4. Royal Hogs in, 1061 to 488. Piggies come down. Valkyrie there to respond. Musketeer up high as well. Musketeer's going head-to-head here at the river. Now Musketeer going to face off against the Valkyrie. Valkyrie not going to be there to protect the Musketeer on the right-hand side. Yes, it is. So what I thought wouldn't happen, One Hive Hunter ends up sacrificing a little bit of damage from that miner hit, not trying to catch it, gets the snowball plus the Skeletons in to get this Valkyrie to protect the Musketeer, demands the log out, but that's not going to really be enough. Spear Goblins come in, high archers here to stop that damage. Miner goes to the back of the tower, nothing there to catch. Snowball in, Skeletons come down. Archers turn around and take that miner down, but no damage in there afterwards. 344 to 889. Mortar on the board defensively. Spear Goblin cycled up high, and this is Demas's, the name of his game is the Relentless Cycle. And that is a good game there from One Hive Hunter. Fireball in on top of the miner, and that is going to do it. Demas plays exceptional Clash Royale from top to bottom to start his day and end it as well. You know, he had a little bit of trouble there in his set, going the distance, going to game number 5 against Ligan. But then you see here in the winner's bracket, putting the hurt on One Hive Hunter, who is going to have to face off against the Spaniard tomorrow to keep his run alive in Gamestars. We saw him go to second place last season, already struggling here in our international qualifiers. $30,000 on the line, and you know One Hive Hunter wants a chunk of that change. You can see there, talking about Elixir leaked a little bit earlier. Very, very little Elixir leaked on either side of the board, which makes sense. You know, Elixir leaking will happen a lot more with heavier decks, but with decks that are this fast, cycle this quickly, that can have, that you can always add pressure with for cheap, you don't really want to leak too much. So here we go. 3-2, Hunter over Kuma. 3-2, Demas over Ligan. And then it's a quick 3-0 sweep for Ligan over Mini Kuma. And then what you just saw there, Demas takes it to game 4, takes the win over One Hive Hunter, who had a very quick turnaround in this Group D day. Which means There's just one day left of our international group stage, and that is tomorrow. That's right, I see y'all hanging out. Make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube so you can check out these incredible matches. Every single one of these matches, one player will move on and one player will be said goodbye to. And what an incredible day that's going to be. Lucas GSM from Portugal going up against The Awesome. Lucas GSM was our invite player. Hugo CR, another invite player, going up against St. Belican. SB, another invite player from Season 1, going up against Sasa. And of course, it wouldn't be right if we didn't round it out correctly. Our fourth invited player going up against Ligan CR. Lucas GSM and all the other players that were pushed on through. SB, One Hive Hunter, Hugo, all of our invited players, life's on the line for our competition tomorrow. 4 best of 5s. We say goodbye to 4 players. We send them $4,000, and we send the 4 players on to our international finals taking place on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th of November. But first, you guys got to be back here tomorrow. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. We go live at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, or 6 p.m. Central European Summer Time for Gamestars CR. I am Andrew Guy. We'll see you tomorrow. Keep on clashing.
And we're back. Gamestars Clash Royale Season 2 is running full steam, packed with high-octane action, intricate strategy, and mountains of gold. Mix the elixirs and hop on your hog, Chief. Time to find out who will dominate the clans. Subscribe, join our stream, and witness brave heroes fighting in Gamestars Clash Royale Season 2. Ride on, piggy!